delay could be, yes, it could be some riders, they might be affected about that. Also because here, many bikes, they stay in traffic, it's difficult to pass. And so we have to see how they can manage.
Thank you, Pierre.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thanks, Simon. Thanks, as always, to the always interesting insight from Piero Talamasso. Yeah, it's the hottest competition we've had of the weekend so far. As Piero said, cooler than the race here 1 year ago when we were right in the midst of a sort of European summer heat wave where it was actually scorching here in Sancehcring 1 year ago. We just saw there, didn't we? Marc Marquez leaving the Honda truck with a bit of bandaging on that left thumb. It was the career-threatening right for victory with Raul Marquez out of 3 Grand Prix earlier on this season. As we said, let's just hope he's fighting fit back on that Honda in action in a couple of weeks' time. Just a quick glimpse there before we pop back down to Simon. Maverick Vinales inside the factory, a brilliant garage. The Top Gun firing blanks at the moment, isn't he? The 28-year-old Spaniard having a real tough weekend, crashing out of the sprint yesterday. First time he's not seen a checkered flag in the new sprint format. Simon, some additions to the thoughts of Piero Talamasso there?
Well, just to give the listeners an idea about what I was talking to Piero about the heat from the bikes in front. Last year, with that heat wave, he was saying 50 degrees then, 44 now on the track, but the air temperature was quite a bit higher. Last year, riders told me that if you were behind the group, further back in the field, it was unbearable. Like literally burning the skin on your neck, too hot. And what engineer I asked said they've got a sensor in the air intake, to gather information, and they registered over 80, I think he said 84 degrees coming in to the air intake, so which made me believe the riders. And that's the problem for the front tyre as well as you can imagine if you spend too long behind multiple bikes, which is worse than one bike, kicking off that heat, then you literally, you use too much energy, too much sweat, it's too hard to handle at the back of the group.
Yeah, thanks for that, Simon. This is going to be a tricky one, isn't it? If you do get right further down the pack. Frankie Morbidelli yesterday, Alexis Sparg in particular, factory in Aprilia. They were starting from 4th and 5th rows. They encountered 3 big issues. A big spike in front tyre temperature makes it so hard to overtake. This man, though, all he's having in terms of spikes, the big spike in form. He comes into this a full distance feature-length German Grand Prix, riding the crest of a wave of the Jorge Martin. 5 successive podiums, and this was the catalyst in the sprint yesterday. This daring move on the inside of both Miller and Bagnaia into turn number 12, just seconds after he sided his way through. He lost the front on that Prima Pramac Racing Ducati, one of several near misses for Martin in that Tissot sprint yesterday. But now he is Pecco Bagnaia's closest title adversary. 21 points the gap between him and Pecco Bagnaia going into this German Grand Prix. Jorge Martin, he's been as good as Bagnaia, really, hasn't he, in the sprint on Saturday. That was the moment it was almost disaster, wasn't it? Just coming 3 or 4 seconds after he'd cut on the inside of both Bagnaia and Miller. And for the second time in 3 sprints, the man who takes the checkered flag first, getting the approval there from his Ducati teammate Johan Zarco, was Jorge Martin. There's not many boxes left to tick in 2023 for this young man there, Jorge, Lewis, but one of them is a Sunday Grand Prix win.
He's been waiting for quite a long time, of course, just the one Grand Prix victory. And of course, if he does do that, it will bring him even closer into the championship reckoning with Pecco Bagnaia. Pecco Bagnaia did say yesterday he was expecting this kind of form from Jorge Martin.
Sprint. Bagnaia was saying that he's done a lot of work in his race pace on that soft rear tyre. The medium rear tyre is what Martin's done a lot of work some rain on Friday and Saturday.
It was creative, some drama in the two MotoGP qualifying sessions yesterday. Metric soft or the medium, harder on the left-hand shoulder, of course, because of the 10 left-hand corners.
The pressure room last night, as he was explaining. The frustrating and disappointing 7th place in the conference. Sprint. There's a few riders filtered to the grid. I can see Morbidelli, Alex Marquez, Augusto Fernandez. They've all got the hard front tyre fixed, of course. So has Luca Marini, rather. Pecco Bagnaia, the world champion, filtering his way to pole position. He's got the hard front tyre on as well.
It also take a brave rider at this stage with the climate temperatures to go for the soft rear tyre. Perhaps those riders. Will any of them feel like rolling the dice and going for that softer rear tyre? Pecco Bagnaia pulls on to pole position. The question, of course, is can he turn the tables on Jorge Martin in this afternoon's Grand Prix? And can he get to the first corner first? Because, of course, he's got Jack Miller on the fast-starting KTM who starts on the outside of that front row. Jack Miller didn't exactly get the ideal start yesterday. He was a little bit distracted by a tear-off under his front wheel yesterday. To rectify that, when he looked up, the lights were going out, but Jack Miller still on that fast starting KTM got to turn 1 first. So Pecco Bagnaia, we're expecting to spend quite a bit of the Grand Prix leading it. He might not lead around turn 1.
Yeah, Miller was suffering. We could clearly see it, couldn't we, in that sprint yesterday with the corner speed, the turning of the Ducati. He couldn't handle it through turns 10, 11. Who would have thought we'd say this just a few years ago, that the Ducati had the best turning and corner speed around this short Sancehcring circuit. That's what they're all here for. That's what they're all fighting for.
This man, Johan Zarco, pole here 2 years ago in 2021. He kept fellow Frenchman Fabio Quartararo very honest, didn't he? In that 30-lap race here 1 year ago, in much
More mentally and physically testing conditions. Zarco fancies the chances of the podium here. Yesterday was a bizarre reason for his poor start. The front ride-out device hadn't disengaged going to the first 3 corners. Bizarrely, it was actually the clout he got from Brad Binder coming out of turn number 3, which actually popped the front end back up. And that went ensued a pretty frenetic fight between Binder and Zarco, which ended with a super aggressive move from that Zarco on the South African through the high speed at turn number 11 on that very last lap. Very shortly though, we're going to get a revised grid to run you through, of course. The grid changing with Marc Marquez sadly withdrawing from this 13-lap.
Let's take a look at it then. Pecco Bagnaia is on pole position from Luca Marini and Jack Miller. John Zarco, Marco Bezzecchi and Jorge Martin are together on row 2. Can Martin make any progress and put himself in the frame for his Sancehcring double? Alex Marquez, he heads the 3rd row of the grid from Brad Binder and Aleix Espargaro and Air Bastianini, Fabio Quartararo and Maverick Vinales. They share row 4. Fabio Di Giannantonio, Augusto Fernandez and Miguel Oliveira on row 5 ahead of Frankie Morbidelli and Taka Nakagami. Ralph Fernandez starts from 18th position on the grid and completing our 19-rider field is Jonas Folger. Just looking through the tyre options there, Matt, as they flick through the page. Everybody has gone to the grid at this stage with the hard front, medium rear combination. That is our information at the moment. Of course, they have around about 15 minutes to potentially change their minds.
Just as we like it, a straight shootout in terms of the tyre choice. Nobody taking what would be a real left field gamble, a punt on that medium front tyre, just as Marco Bezzecchi and Johan Zarco did yesterday. Now then, this time 1 year ago, Fabio Quartararo won the German Grand Prix with an exit for Pecco Bagnaia. He left the Sancehcring 91 points clear in the championship. At the moment though, it's tough going for Yamaha and the Frenchman Fabio Quartararo. What can he do? Let's hear some pre-race thoughts of their team manager, Mario Regali's assignment.
Mayo, it's been a tough season so far, especially as Matt Burt was just mentioning, leading the championship, winning here a year ago. I noticed that both machines have different rear wings on. I imagine you're also working on developing and getting information even during the race.
For sure, now we are also starting to think about exploring things that we started doing that at the beginning at the winter test. But then the time there was not enough, and now I think we try to touch. Give us, and now it's time to exploring.
And one last thing about the race, Mayo, is in general it's been all about qualifying and if he can qualify, especially Fabio, in the right place, he has the pace for the race. What about today?
Yeah, okay, yesterday was like this. I don't want to say that the pace was good enough to fight for the podium, but realistically now we are thinking more about 5th, 6th, 7th, and the pace he had was good to stay with them. It was a pity that okay, we had a Q2, but we could not at least start from the 0 rather than the 4. It's a work in progress, and we will for sure find something, find a way to get out of these difficulties. And but having said that, it's going back to your question, to the qualifier, super important.
Mayo, thank you for your time. I hope you find something today.
Thank you.
Thanks, Simon. Thanks to Mario Regali. So Yamaha trying to find some solutions to what's been a very bleak 2023 so far for the Iwata factory. With no Marc Marquez, no Joan Mir, no Alex Rins for HRC, and of course Yamaha's involved in MotoGP reduced to 2 bikes this year. Hard to think when the last time there was a top flight Premier Class Grand Prix that started with just 3 Japanese motorcycles on the grid. Of course, just Nakagami for LCR Honda and the 2 Yamahas, Fabio Quartararo and Frankie Morbidelli on the grid. Not expecting any new parts to work wonders for Quartararo and Frankie Morbidelli from 11th and 16th respectively. The flip side of that coin is you do feel that if there's not a double podium challenge coming today for Prima Planet Racing, it will represent a pretty frustrating Sunday with Zarco and Martin looking so strong already so far this weekend. One of the pre-German Grand Prix thoughts of their boss Gino Borsoy. Here's the Simon.
Gino, yesterday you had 2 of the fastest men on the circuit, not just Jorge, but also Johan. It's double the distance today. Double the distance. What is the differences?
The difference is so big. Yesterday we use as all the rider on track with the short on rear, and today medium. We have some data we check even today this morning during the warm up. Seems that the medium on rear is okay too for all the long distance, but they have to manage at the end for sure. So will be not easy, especially because all the riders have the same choice. It's all about how to manage the rear tire for the end of the race.
One other thing I was thinking is Johan Zarco regularly is strong on the medium rear tyre at different circuits. What about Jorge? And what about Johan?
Well, in terms of data, we saw the last 2 days that the medium on rear 440 was okay too. It was fast with the medium, so let's see. Finger crossed, because
Simon, as we mentioned, in the tarmac always, Zarco and Martin, they are both in search of 3 podiums in a row for the first time in their MotoGP career. Zarco has not done that since mid-2016 when he successfully defended his Moto2 title. Fourth on the grid, his best qualifying in 11 since Matteo.
Fabio Di Giannantonio a week ago in the Tito Sprint in Sancehcring. He'll finish between Marc Marquez and Fabio Quartararo, or just ahead of the pair of them. He'd have been pretty happy with that, but as it is, Di Giannantonio found himself in, unfortunately, outside the points. 12th place for him in the sprint. Di Giannantonio looking to try and replicate his best MotoGP result, which came here a year ago.
KTM carry big hopes in this feature race, don't they, with Jack Miller starting from the front row on the podium in yesterday's sprint, and you can never discount the hard-charging Brad Binder from fighting his way through the pack. Let's get some thoughts from KTM Motorsport Director. Bit by with Simon.
At the circuits early in the championship, it was really clear your bike was so good entering and exiting. It struggled a little bit more with those long turns, long fast turns in Mugello, but I knew you guys wouldn't take that lying down. It looks like you've already improved it a little bit over practice. What do you feel about both your riders and your machine going into this race?
Yeah, I mean, after the highlight in Jerez, and honestly, we expected a little bit more in Mugello to have it a little bit more easy. It was difficult for the riders there, and they still did a great race. But we found out a little bit what happened there. We were missing drive grip, so that's back here. What we could see yesterday going into the start-finish straight. So I feel we are good. We are back where we can be. It's a tough fight out there, especially with the Ducatis. The boys put the level very high. But yeah, being in first row with the start performance of our bike, I feel we can do a great race today.
Thanks, best of luck.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks to Depara. That's what they're all chasing this afternoon then at the end of 30 laps. That is the Sancehcring race-winning prize next to the biggest prize in motorcycle racing. It is the World Champions Tower. This man had the honour of putting his name on that illustrious list of MotoGP World Champions from that past history. Taken by no other than the 26-year-old Italian going from pole position. Let's go down to Sancehcring, who's got Massimo Rivola, pre-racing CEO after a difficult weekend for the Diwali factory.
Massimo, please give us your thoughts. It's quite clear you still haven't been able to get those results that we think the Aprilia can get.
Again, we think we have a better bike than the results we are getting, but until we it was not too bad, the start really, especially from Maverick. Speaking about the top guys, but we also see that when you're racing in the middle, it's different than when you're racing in front. So if we can get, let's say, we get out of the first 2 corners in a decent position, maybe we can keep that. Otherwise, it's going to be very tough.
Thank you and best of luck today.
Thank you.
Thanks, Simon. Thanks to Massimo Rivola. Yeah, harsh words from Aleix Espargaro yesterday. He said we're having a very bad championship. He left under no illusions his thoughts on Aprilia's current plight. Some angry words as well, saying that Aprilia at the moment have one of the worst starting devices in MotoGP. What can he do then, going from 9th place on the grid? He pops up 1 slot, doesn't he? Or 1 row at least. And Marc Marquez's unfortunate absence through injury. Fabio Quartararo just having a few last-minute words for Canal Plus, the French TV network, as we draw close. Myself and Lewis are going to stay quiet very, very quickly because we're about to hear the special atmosphere of the German national anthem here at the Sancehcring.
Simon.
Sorry, it's Paolo Givati with me. Paolo, your man, Pecco Bagnaia, is in the English Championship. There's quite a few other Ducatis that are extremely competitive here, the bike to beat. Please give us your thoughts.
Yeah, you're right. Pecco's leading. Maybe you could have a much wider margin without those crashes, but it's important. His leading is true that we have many Ducati competitive here also. So Sancehcring is not anymore a track which doesn't suit the Ducati as it was in the past. Obviously, we miss a win here since 2008 with Casey Stoner. Yesterday was great, but the sprint race doesn't count as a GP. So it would be great for Ducati to be able to be again the winner of the GP of Germany. Let's see which rider. Hopefully it's a Ducati rider, but I'm sure that Pecco will be there, but you know, Martin for sure, and I think some other guys will be fighting for the leading group. And managing the tire with this hot condition, with this heat, is going to be, I think, key for success.
Paolo, thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thanks, Simon. Unmistakably, Paolo Givati with Simon Crowbar on the grid, plus 6 Ducati start within the top 7 grid slots now with the withdrawal of Marc Marquez. So the possibilities are quite high for a victory for one of the Bologna Bullets. Of course, the other 2 spots within the top 8 occupied by the factory KTM. There's Jack Miller from 3rd. What about Brad Binder coming from the 3rd row? The grid got stuck behind Johan Zarco yesterday in the sprint. Oh, got stuck behind Luca Marini and beaten by Johan Zarco on the final lap. If he can get off the line a little bit better today, Brad Binder feels he's got the pace to better his sprint showing yesterday.
So the pole position of 1:21.409, a drying track yesterday. Predicted race pace based on what we saw over the 15 laps from the major sprint winner, Roy Martin, around a 1:21.4. But this is a journey into the unknown in many respects, because there was rain disruptions on Friday, rain disruptions yesterday as well. So the riders certainly have not had the prep time they would normally have liked coming into this 30-lap Grand Prix of Germany. Ducati continue to try and continue their domination of MotoGP. They're going for their 4th podium lockout of the season. Termas, of course, kicked off this golden run, and they've locked out the top 3 in our last 2 feature races in last minute and 11th hour gamble on the soft rear tyre as he tries to fight his way through early on that swap at the back of the 3rd row as it stands now. If he does get through, he's going to have to go into time management mode, isn't it, pretty quickly. Race winner here then, 1 year ago. Who would have thought, fast forward 12 months, that was the last time we saw this man stand on the top step of the Grand Prix podium. The last time that he actually led Grand Prix was right here in the Sancehcring 1 year ago. An all-French 1-2, of course, with fellow Frenchman Johan Zarco fighting his way through to the runner-up spot.
The possibilities are from behind the Fabio Quartararo to change that today. Of course, coming from 11th on the grid, Fabio Quartararo just had sole podium this season back in Austin, and that was from a season's best qualifying time this year that he's started inside the top 7 on the grid. But it's really going to be crucial for Jorge Martin to try and make up ground early on in this race. You could argue he was helped slightly in the sprint yesterday by Jack Miller getting to the front of the race and just keeping Pecco Bagnaia boxed in a little bit. If Bagnaia can hit the front early, he'll be keen to try and put as much time into Martin if the sprint winner does find himself stuck in a little bit of early traffic.
Jorge Martin has had that special winning feeling here in Sancehcring previously, before a double winner in the Red Bull MotoGP Rookies Cup all the way back at the start of his career in 2013 and 2014. Moto3 winner here in 2018 ahead of Marco Bezzecchi, one of his rivals here this afternoon. And of course yesterday,
A sprint winner here at the Sancehcring. He wants the big one. He wants the 25 points and a first Grand Prix in the Premier Class victory.
35 since Austria 2021. The fans are enjoying life in the Sancehcring sunshine. This is the one that they've all come to see. Although the man they all came to see this evening could extend that golden run of 12 successive victories in 12 starts here at the Sancehcring. Marc Marquez on the Repsol Honda, unfortunately sidelined after this morning's bruising fourth gear high side going through turn number 7, his 5th spill of the weekend, and Marquez opting does not feel ready to race, probably mentally and physically, for this 30-lap Grand Prix, so he will sit it out. So then, Jack Miller, third in yesterday's 15-lap sprint. He goes from the back of that front row of the grid on the factory KTM. Luca Marini on the Mini VR46 Ducati, a career best starting position for the 2500 Italian. He goes from second alongside compatriot Pecco Bagnaia. 21 points clear in the World Championship. The race winner 7 days ago, Mugello. Is there more brilliance from Bagnaia here in Germany? Welcome back to Germany. Good afternoon, everyone. We are set for the 30-lap German Grand Prix. A Sancehcring stunner coming your way. Without the Sancehcring, though, unfortunately. 8 times world champion, a race winner here on 11 occasions on his last 11 minutes. Marquez sadly ruled out through injury. The 8 times world champion suffering a 5th high-speed crash on his crash-strewn weekend here at his beloved Sancehcring, and taking the very difficult decision to withdraw from this German Grand Prix.
We are all expecting, as a crowd of nearly 100,000 fans who, when they bought their tickets, were probably expecting to see Marc Marquez firmly in the fight for German Grand Prix glory once again. Multiple MotoGP winner here, twice a Moto2 winner and in Moto3. But Marc Marquez is sidelined from this German Grand Prix. Warm up underway then, slightly depleted 19-rider field with Taki Naka. Lead going into the Dutch TT in Assen next weekend. 21 points clear of sprint winner Jorge Martin. And look at that, we had a record Sunday crowd, didn't we, of 116,000 fans in Le Mans. Nearly 100,000 fans here on race day, over 213,000 fans at a weekend crowd as well. The buzzing atmosphere, a special atmosphere. MotoGP as alive and kicking, isn't it, in 2023. Seeing fantastic crowd once again in this year's World Championship. There is your championship standings then. Pecco Bagnaia, 140 points going into this 30-lap Grand Prix of Germany. This time last year when we left the Sancehcring after his crash ahead of Fabio Quartararo.
Everybody was saying, no way Pecco Bagnaia can win the World Championship now. He was 91 points adrift, wasn't he? Quartararo after this Grand Prix. As we come here 12 months later, everybody's saying he can't lose it this year. What will unfold though over the next 40 minutes or so as the riders come to the grid for what we hope will be a sensational crowd. As Fabio Quartararo won here last year, will we see a new name as a race victor here at this historic venue? The German Grand Prix, lights out, full throttle, and we are underway. Luca Marini got a good launch on that Mini VR46 Ducati, but it's Jack Miller again who just rockets away on that factory KTM. He's got the inside line, he hugs that tight line as well. Miller will lead as they drop down the hill going through the Amiga section. Bagnaia squeezed Marini out wide, he takes second place.
And Martin away well, he's up into 4th place from the inside line into the first corner. We've got the inside of Brad Binder and Luca Marini. John Zarco's down to 7th place.
A 61km/h corner. Well, that's where Marc Marquez had his big crash this morning in the warm-up, which has ruled him out
of this German Grand Prix. Miller's getting on with this early on, isn't he? Already through the second split, nearly 3/10 clear of Bagnaia.
John Zarco is trying to get on with it further back. He's trying to deal with Marco Benteke. He's got Aleix Espargaro behind him, who is on that soft rear tyre.
Just like we saw in the sprint yesterday, though, Miller just can't get that KTM hooked up, coming through turns 10 and 11. He led going into turn 11 on this opening lap, but he's been pushed all the way back down to 4th place as the Ducati barrage came on through. Bagnaia, Marini and Martin just eased past the Australian. That was a real tough third sector there for Miller. His problems seem to return from the sprint.
So the KTMs are 4th and 5th over the line. Then it's Aleix Espargaro, who's right behind them on that soft rear tyre, making it work in these early stages. Look at Binder trying to go around the outside of Jack Miller, but it's back as we were in the sprint yesterday with Bagnaia and Martin at the front, although of course it's the reigning world champion who leads us this time.
So Bagnaia just where he wanted to be. Is this going to be the picture for the remainder of 2023? Potentially building up here as a championship tussle between Bagnaia and Martin in the front of this Grand Prix. Alex Marquez trying to squeeze on the inside of Marco Bezzecchi there through that tight turns 5 and 6. They drop downhill then through the fourth gear, turn number 7. Bagnaia with clear track ahead of him. Quarters of a second clear to the first half of this second lap ahead of sprint winner Martin.
Early moments, important early moments you feel for Brad Binder here. You feel he's the quicker of the two KTMs. He's certainly all over the back of Jack Miller. He doesn't want to let this leading trio of Ducatis get away and of course come under any pressure from behind. But riding on board with Marini, and look how close it's punching up as Aleix Espargaro now gets involved with the KTMs.
Aleix Espargaro, good spot by Simon pre-race. He did go late on for that soft rear tyre. So did Fabio Quartararo, two-time contender from last year, trying to make that extra soft grip work at the start of this Grand Prix, which they need to do. Of course, they'll have to be wary of the durability, the endurance of those soft rear tyres. But Aleix Espargaro making it pay right now. He's up to fit.
Here comes Brad Binder then coming back through on Aleix Espargaro. It's really bunching up behind him, isn't it? As Aleix Espargaro tries to come back through. Bezzecchi's getting embroiled in a battle there. He just lost the place to Zarco. I think Alex Marquez is also thrown Marco Bezzecchi down to 9th place.
Just a block pass there, was it, from Binder? Nothing that Aleix Espargaro could do. Passing that first corner was Brad Binder's Cage Bagnaia. 6 podiums in 7 sprints, trying to continue his golden run as well in the German Grand Prix. Looks like Bagnaia and Martin has started to stretch away. Not near to Jack Miller on this opening lap, and he's just flicked it hard right. 5th gear, down the hill. Look, he lost the rear, did it? That's the reason why then. Jack Miller, just that wheel spin as he was desperately trying to make sure that the Ducatis behind him weren't able to attack him on the brakes into turn number 12. But that's exactly what happened. Here comes Martin. Martin picks up the baton. He leads here at the Sancehcring, about to complete lap 3.
Danger signs then for Bagnaia, because once Martin got past him yesterday, Bagnaia didn't really see him again in the remainder of the sprint. Martin sets the fastest lap in the Grand Prix. I'll take it quicker than Bagnaia, of course. He went from a quarter of a second behind to a quarter of a second ahead. Bagnaia needs to keep him in view and also make sure that he doesn't allow Luca Marini to come through as well.
Shades of 2022 here. It was Fabio Quartararo that made the early running, and Pecco Bagnaia dumped it, didn't he, behind him in that first corner. Crash which left him 91 point behind in the World Championship. That's Zarco on the inside of Aleix Espargaro in the Omega corner. So the Prima Pala Ducati man seeing his teammate Jorge Martin hit the front for the first time. He's eager to try and work his way now back into podium contention. Zarco up inside the top 6.
We know Zarco tends to get stronger as the race goes on, so he'll be in a good position there in 6th place. But Luca Marini looks like he's ready to make a move on the reigning world champion. Pecco Bagnaia already halfway around this lap has fallen half a second adrift of Jorge Martin. It's turning into a similar story from the sprint. Bagnaia at the moment does not have the pace to go with Jorge Martin.
History is repeating itself. Martin hit the front of the sprint on lap 4 yesterday. He's done the exact same thing here in the main Grand Prix. Binder on the inside of Jack Miller, sliding that KTM down the hill in that 3rd gear, turn number 12. Now Miller trying to respond and just compromise his exit there a little bit, didn't he, Brad Binder? They all bunch up behind the South African. What this is doing, of course, is giving the top 3 the chance to stretch away at the front. Martin again, just as he did at the sprint yesterday. Once he's hit the front, he gets the hammer down, gets his head down, and starts reading off 2 or 3 fastest laps. A 1:21.342, quickest man on circuit, over 4 tenths ahead of Bagnaia in 2nd.
Alex Marquez and Marco Bezzecchi once again going side by side there into turn 1. Behind them is Quartararo on the Yamaha in 10th. He's ahead of an AFS Giannini who's not made progress. In fact, he's lost the place to the 2021 world champion off the line. Then it's Oliveira who's gone through on Maverick Vinales, who's still not making any progress this weekend. I feel like every time I look at the screen, Maverick Vinales is down in 13th.
Yeah, as mentioned, the Tom Gunn firing blanks in Mugello last weekend in Aprilia's home Grand Prix. It's been a tough Sancehcring weekend as well. For Vinales, he crashed out of the sprint. His first sprint DNF yesterday, but he was nowhere near the point scoring places. Now then Bagnaia just starting to stretch his legs and move away from Marini. He drops down through the 5th gear, turn number 11. His problem now, trying to work out what to do and how to deal with Jorge Martin ahead of him. He did find nearly a couple of tenths in that third sector. Yesterday, Martin reigned supreme in sector 2. Last night, Bagnaya's homework was going to be pouring over Martin's dangerous. Bezzecchi raids on the inside of Alex Marquez in turn 13. Bagnaya had a good look yesterday, didn't Martin, through the second 30%. He's able to turn so much better. What did Bagnaya learn from the studying those laptops last night inside that factory Ducati garage? Martin then leads over the line by 6.5 tenths.
The rider who made the move on that lap was Binder, who did his personal best lap of the race, 121.3. He was quicker than the trio ahead of him, so Binder, having got clear of his teammate Miller, does appear to have the pace to run at the front of this race. He's currently 1.5 seconds off the lead, but currently the fastest rider on circuit.
John Zarco was briefly up into 5th place as well, wasn't he? Well, he is in 5th right now. Although he's had a good exchange with Miller, he's just lost that 5th spot in the first sector. You just wonder, this lost time might be putting paid to Zarco's podium hopes here. A long, long way to go, and he is so adept, isn't he, at time management in the second half of the races. But at the moment, he can see Brad Binder starting to streak away.
Got to find a way through quickly. Well, he did a hard move on Binder on the KTM in turn number 11. He's now dishing out some more pain to KTM through that turn number 11. It was cleaner this time around. No contact between him and Zarco on the Australian, who's struggling for pace at the early part of this Grand Prix.
Miller got no answer, particularly there through turns 10 and 11. This is turning into a similar story from Mugello, isn't it? Where Miller was pretty competitive early on, but fell backwards. Bezzecchi now finally starting to come into play in this Grand Prix. He's through on the fast-starting Malaysia Spargaro, so Bezzecchi now back up into 7th place, but he is 3 seconds off the race leader, despite his personal best lap last time around.
That was Bastianini up the inside of Fabio Quartararo going into first corner. He looked like he was a little bit wide. He was just using a bit of poke there about the Ducati down the short 700-metre start-finish straight. Quartararo trying to top it out with the beast there into the Omega corner we go. You can just hear Quartararo just feathering the throttle just through this very, very tight and twisty first sector. A trademark characteristic of this Sancehcring layout. That is a battle at the moment that's raging.
10th place, not where we thought Quartararo and the beast would be battling at the Sancehcring pre-season.
So far halfway around this 7th lap, Martin is continuing to manage that lead at around 7 tenths of a second, although Bagnaya, after that initial explosion of pace from Martin, has been able to stabilise it somewhat. He's able to match Martin now. Bagnaya said his personal best lap last time around at 21.3. It was near enough the same lap time for him. Martin will be right on board now with Bezzecchi, adding more pain for Jack Miller.
Yeah, Miller's getting a mauling here, isn't he, unfortunately? Although he goes back through, that was a hard move. Making that sweep on the inside of the Australian to turn 12. He just got to slightly wide, didn't he, there? Back to see line, and Miller said, thank you very much.
He's back on.
Bagnaya, of course, team just couldn't match the pace of Pecco Bagnaya. On the rear wheel of Luca Marini's Moody PR46 Ducati. This is now a battle for the final podium position.
Yeah, coming right into that battle is Zarco there.
That's lap at 1:21.300. And again, his next close to his chief rival.
might well be able to latch on to the leading pair. We ride on board with Binder down the hill through the Ralph Waldman curve, and look how close this is in on Marini. Binder up to the inside, he's not allowing Marini to turn in. Binder able to get to the apex.
Just 16 points behind Pekka Bagnaia. As we head for another showdown, over 37 points available next weekend in Assen. So now then, Binder, the gap between him and Bagnaia, second to third was 1.6 seconds. Now the field have gone through the very loud pit lane. Let's go and get some thoughts. So, Simon, you spotted what happened to Maverick Vinales. Brilliant, what did you see?
Well, we all saw smoke coming from the exhaust. Outly something into
Yeah, not just to hang on to that. Through the gravel trap. That's why the former King of the Sancehcring, the undisputed King of the Sancehcring sideline for Luca Marini. Here comes Arco and his beloved turn number 11. How many overtakes in his Grand Prix career has Johan Zarco made there? It was through on Binder yesterday in the sprint. He made a hard move, a fair move on Miller early on, and this time his latest victim through the Malvern curve is Luca Marini. I don't think